What is good, guys? What is good? We need to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I was having a conversation with a kid from work that I work with, right? And he's younger. He's much younger, right? But he's all asking me about a bunch of different corners, a bunch of different defensive backs. We're just having this overall conversation. Then he's like, "What do you think about Cam Chancellor?" He's like, "Do you think Cam Chancellor was just a hard hitter, or do you think he was actually a good safety?" I'm like, bro. I'm like, no, he was not just a hard hitter. I'm like, he was one of the living lives of LOB. You think about Earl Thomas, you think about Richard Sherman. Who was that other corner? I'm trying to think of the other corner opposite. He always get like a bunch of penalties, holding penalties. I can't think of his name right now, but I'm thinking of that defensive backfield, LOB, but I'm talking about Cam Chancellor, dude. Cam Chancellor, I was telling that kid, I was like, no, dude, he was the real deal. I'm like, when you talk about a bunch of hard-hitting safeties, I'm like, he was one of those guys, and he was one of the most dangerous and scariest safeties in the NFL, right? And it just got me thinking. It got me thinking about Seattle. It got me thinking about John Schneider. John Schneider now, and I watched it in the Russell Wilson era, and now I'm watching it in the Mike Macdonald era. So, right, Pete Carroll era, Mike Macdonald era. I've watched him build two elite defenses back to back. Now, I know there was a little break in between, right? When Russ left, it's been a little bit, but he's built two elite defenses back to back. I find that nuts. I find that absolutely crazy. And it's possible. I'm not going to sit here and act like other teams can't do it. Like it's like nothing that another team can do. Because teams do it. Like teams have good drafts. They have good drafts where they get 1, 2 to 3 guys back to back to back. It happens. But to just look where Seattle was, right? Especially when Mike Macdonald took over. And we look at the old regime with Pete Carroll ever since then. And it's like, John Schneider, dude. John Schneider. I mean, we've talked about, do you remember in 2013, 2014, when we talk about the Seattle Seahawks, John Schneider's name was being brought up so much. I remember that. And I was much younger. I remember that. And ever since then, right, we've had this break. Pete Carroll, there's a lot of talk about Pete Carroll. Geno Smith took over for Russell Wilson. Like, his name has been brought up, but now we're back here. They bring in Sam Darnold. They bring in Lawrence. They have all these good draft picks around, like a bunch of different players. And it's like, holy shit, man. Not only on the defensive side, what I'm talking about, but the offensive side. Like this team is kind of stacked. Like they're kind of stacked. In the second they traded for Rashid Shaheed, that's when I knew they were serious. I was like, that's a Super Bowl move. Because there's certain teams, you see them make a trade, right? And it's like, they're going to win a Super Bowl, and they're taking this season very seriously. Same thing we watched with the Green Bay Packers, but it just didn't work out with Parsons, right? He ended up getting hurt. But no, this team is for real. And John Schneider, he's back. He's back, baby. Like we talk about a bunch of different GMs, John Schneider's back. Seattle Seahawks are back. Now we're looking at them in the NFC West, and the NFC West is not that easy. You got the Rams, who they're going to be playing this weekend. You got San Francisco, who they've honestly been shutting down. And then you have the Arizona Cardinals with the new head coach. But like, man, they'll have a new head coach. But yeah, it's just, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with John Schneider. I mean, dude, back in the day when they had that Russell Wilson team under Pete Carroll, I thought John Schneider was the best GM in the league. I really did. Now I'm looking at him again. I'm like, dude, he's right back up there. He's top 3. My team gets a lot of talk with Howie Roseman. I'm like, dude, John Snyder's number 1 right now. With You build a team like that, you get your team to the AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, especially with the quarterback bringing in Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold, I get it. He was good with the Vikings under KOC. I get that. But he's in a new system with Kubiak, and it's his first year in Seattle. And I'm not going to sit here and act like it's been, just spectacular every single week. And, the playoff game versus the Niners. But I think he's played good. And in his first year for Seattle to get this far It speaks volumes. It speaks about the franchise as a whole. You know what I mean? It speaks about Mac McDonald, the GM, the owner, everybody doing their job. But that dude, John Schneider, is one bad man.